I am on my way to a tour of Kew Palace. I am about to be taken behind the scenes into places not usually open to the public. I'm going to see Queen Charlotte's cottage as well as exploring the extensive grounds of Kew Gardens. You've got to come with me.
Originally known as the Dutch House, Kew Palace was bought by a wealthy silk merchant in 1631. The property would swap hands numerous times over the years before finally being inherited by King George III in 1781. Kew was the intimate family home of Queen Charlotte and King George, and they would spend all of their summers here as well as raising their 15 children. Although situated within London, Kew is so far removed from the busy courtly life. It truly is a moment of bliss within the city, especially in the 1700s. To arrive at Kew would have taken quite some feat, as we weren't blessed with things such as tubes back then. You would have needed a boat or a very, very long horse and cart journey indeed. What truly struck a chord in me within walking around these walls was how cosy it is. This isn't a grand look at me, look how wealthy we are house. This is truly a family home. The size of the rooms was, well, tiny. They are really small, and for a royal family they are the last thing I would expect. You could truly vividly picture a real life family living here. This wasn't a grand home, this was a cherished place filled with love. And I believe it speaks a lot to the relationship between the family of King George III, how they viewed themselves, and to have such a sanctuary as this, a little escape, it must have meant the world to them. In 2006, the palace would undergo a huge restoration project. The monumental mammoth task would take countless historians and specialists to go by fragments of wallpaper and paint, tiny little artifacts and clues that led them to restoring the house to its former glory. Luckily, a lot of what we see here is still original, as it was simply locked away. This is King George III's bathtub, which was found up a chimney in the kitchens. Don't ask me how it got there. The original worktops in the kitchens were quite a thing to see and told such a rich history. Our guide was so knowledgeable and I learned a tremendous amount. We then went off in a buggy, and I am fully expecting this treatment everywhere I go now. We arrived at Queen Charlotte's cottage. Now this was called her picnic area. Immediately we were greeted by over 150 Hogarth prints, this being aptly named the print room. This gave a very real glimpse into Queen Charlotte's humour, as a lot of these were satirical, making fun of the royal family. Oh, this room here was just a dream. So the paintings you see were hand-painted by the Princess Elizabeth, and oh my goodness, I could live here. This is true Sleeping Beauty fantasy. This cottage is tucked away in total privacy, and the interior as well as the exterior are things that only dreams are made of. The guide told us that once upon a time all the brickwork on the front would have been covered by climbing vines, and I can't think of anything more magical. I then took a trip to the pagoda. Now this is 252 stairs to the top, but it is absolutely worth it. And to be totally frank, they are quite good stairs to climb. I've been on a lot worse. Once you do St. Paul's Cathedral, you can do anything. This is absolutely worth the climb to the top, as you will find no better view of Kew Gardens and London. It's phenomenal.
It's been one of the greatest days and most marvellous experiences of my lifetime. You're going to have to pinch me tonight to believe I was actually here. And now I have free reign of the gardens to explore at my leisure. Let's see everything. Kew Gardens is a World Heritage Site spanning 320 acres. It boasts the largest plant collection in the entire world, with 50,000 species inside and over 7 million preserved in their archives. What's actually struck me about this glass house is how cool it is inside. Usually I'd expect them to be really warm and sunny, but this one is very blissfully cool. Kew Gardens are so expansive that in the 1840s they actually introduced their own police force just for Kew, and that still runs today. In the late 1700s, Sir Joseph Banks would send plant collectors far and wide across the globe, bringing back exciting exotic species. Stood just behind me is the Palm House, the most important Victorian glass house today. Completed in 1848, this is a testament to everything glorious that is Victorian design. Palm House lays in an idyllic setting, surrounded by the most abundant rose gardens. As I stroll through these roses, the one thing that gets me is that smell. You can't mimic it, you can't imitate it. There is nothing like the fresh smell of a rose. This is what they call a fairy or ground cover rose, and it grows into this dense, rather short bush, maybe 3 foot tall at the maximum, covered in these tiny, dainty little blossoms. Now, these are repeat bloomers and a great way to add a rose to your garden. One thing about Kew Gardens is they are on a direct flight path to the airport. This is incredible beyond words. Being up here is an otherworldly experience. In 1913, Kew would become a political battleground when the suffragettes burned the orchid house to the ground in a protest for women's rights. Kew is so much more than simply a garden. This is a historic monument. From the palaces and pagodas to the tropical houses, the vast, never-ending collection of plants, more than the eye can see. This is history in itself, and the fact we get to walk these paths and explore these halls is amazing.